Hi, I just want to show you guys right off the bat that my ponytail does look cute from the side. Except for apparently my balding here. That's nice. Hi. It doesn't look good from the front, but it looks cute from the side. So I'm just going to do my whole video this way, or maybe not. Maybe I won't do that. Okay. Hi. I know, I frankly, I care too much about my hair. But the thing is, it's day 2. I haven't had a shower today. Did yesterday, so it just doesn't look good. It doesn't look great up, but it looks worse down. So this is where we're at. And I've always been a little self-conscious about my ears. I care less now, but I mean they stick out. Right? They're not huge, but they stick out. So I always try to have something covering it. However, if I try to do this, well, that just looks weird. So we're just gonna do this a lot and carry on. I need water. I have a feeling I'm going to talk a lot. I'm going to try not to, but that's not a good look either. Okay. Here's the facts, okay? I can see myself beside the camera, and I can see myself on my laptop that's hooked up to my camera so I can do focus and everything. So and my mirror, I have a mirror. Oh man, here, I'll show you. I will take a picture and show you what I'm looking at right now so you can understand. Oh, my room's a mess. Don't judge me. Okay, so now you see it. This is what it looks like. I see 3 versions of myself, so I'm a little bit more self-conscious than I used to be. Also, I am, as you can see, wearing a shirt. I'm always wearing a shirt, but you can see that I'm wearing a shirt this time. Okay. You know what I've noticed my problem is? I do about 6 minutes of just chatting about myself before getting to the actual video, which is about 15 minutes, so that's why my videos are about 20 minutes. I'm gonna try to cut that down. Hi. Okay, let's get on with this. Here's the truth. I had no idea what to talk about this week because it's been, oh my goodness, it's been absolutely gorgeous outside, you guys. Here, wait, let me get a video of what it looks like out my window. Here's what's behind you guys. That's a better picture. Okay, the leaves are finally coming alive. It's May 8th and they're finally coming alive. We've got green outside and it's gorgeous. And I think this whole year thus far has been God trying to tell me that I need to get outside more because every time it's been sunny now, I've been outside. I've gone for walks, I've gone shopping and walked from parking lot to parking lot. I've walked to stores, which is very unusual for me. I've been outside a lot and it's been absolutely wonderful. So now whenever it's nice out, it's like, we gotta go outside, we don't know when it's gonna end. And in doing that, I have neglected messaging people. I've neglected emails, I've neglected work, and I've neglected doing research and writing for this. So here I am, doing a video today that is not necessarily just a cheap way of getting out of doing a video. It's something that I wanted to talk about, but it didn't require doing any research. So here we are with today's lazy video of the week, which is, why am I a Christian? I just thought, you know what? I probably should have done this as my very first video to kind of introduce myself, but I'm gonna do it now. Because like I said, I didn't know what else to talk about. So, let's sort of do an introduction. In case you don't actually know me besides these videos, I kind of assume that everyone who follows me now has sort of migrated from my Adventures in Editing channel. And if you haven't, this might be some new information, and if you have, this is going to be some old information. Hi, my name is Tracy. I am a Canadian, which is why I occasionally say a and a boot. Sometimes I try really hard not to, but if you ever hear me sounding like a Canadian, it's because I am one. Sadly, which is why I'm constantly complaining about how cold it is here / how boiling hot it is here, because we only have 2 temperatures, except today it's beautiful. It's mild but warm, which is why I'm trying to be quick here because I want to go back outside. I'm Canadian. I'm a Christian. I'm 26 years old, and I would say without hesitation that I've pretty much been a Christian all my life, and I know a lot of people have trouble with that. They don't like the idea of someone saying that, yeah, I've pretty much been a Christian all my life, and people think that no, you need to have a moment where you sit down, you get down on your knees. I almost said get down on one knee and propose to God. No, when you get down on your knees and you say the sinner's prayer, and if you don't have a moment like that, people think you're probably not actually saved. I have absolutely no use for the sinner's prayer. I think you may have noticed by now that I have absolutely no use for the majority of what's considered normal in the church today, but I've got no use for the sinner's prayer because I don't think anywhere in the Bible does it say to say those words. I know for a fact it doesn't say to say those words, but I also think that it doesn't say anything about the whole idea of the sinner's prayer, which I'm not going to get into right now. But anyway, so I want to say I was about 11, where I thought, okay, I don't want to go to hell, so I am going to pray this sort of prayer. I'm going to say all the right words, and I'm going to feel something. I'm going to cry, and I'm going to know that I'm good. So I tried that, and I didn't cry, and I didn't feel this weight being lifted off. I didn't really feel anything. It just felt like I said a word. There's a blue jay! Hi guys, I don't have ADD. There's a window and there's a blue jay in the tree. It's one of the first ones I've seen lately. I'm gonna get back to you soon. Just in case this goes on a while, we'll just cut away. Oh, he's so cute. Wait, let me get a video so you can see him. Don't move, buddy. Wait, okay, I'll just get a picture. Can you see him? Put your head up. Okay, you really can't see him, but there's a blue jay. Anyways, so I was about 11. I tried it, and it didn't work. I didn't feel any different. I didn't feel like I've suddenly been saved. And I had been going to church all my life at that point. I was raised in a Christian home. We did not listen to secular radio. We didn't really watch much secular TV or movies. Occasionally my dad would my parents would watch a movie, and we would, my sister and I would kind of watch too, but for the most part, it was VeggieTales. It was Odyssey. It was a lot of listening to Odyssey with the Odyssey videos. We had a very Christian childhood, I guess you'd say, by Blue Jay. And that's what I knew. I mean, I grew up knowing God exists. Jesus died for me. I grew up writing these things. I would write, stories about these things. I'd write out Bible stories. There was never a time in my life where I thought, I don't believe this is crap, and no. I've always believed it, which to me sort of says, yes, I have definitely sinned against God, both accidentally and willfully, and no, I'm not perfect, but I would say that I never really strayed from him in an I don't want you kind of way. So I don't know what people who, don't like that whole, basically I was born saved kind of mentality, but that's sort of what I would say, that I've always believed, I've never doubted it, and so I would easily say that I've always been a Christian kind of thing. But like I said, at around 11 or something, I tried because I thought, I was so afraid of going to hell. I was scared of the whole idea of not being saved. I didn't necessarily want to be saved because I thought there was something in it for me. I didn't think that, and that sounds really selfish, but the whole thing of having a relationship with God and knowing him, and that didn't necessarily appeal to me as much as the idea of not going to hell did. And I think it kind of confused me because I would always hear people saying, you need to say the sinner's prayer, you need to have a conversion experience, you need to blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I haven't really done any of those things, but I still think I still believe in God. So I tried it, didn't work. The next night, I tried it again, didn't work. And this just went on and on, that I would repent and believe, and I would, ask Jesus into my heart, and I would try, and I kept expecting to have this emotional experience, an emotional response to it. But at the age of 11, I wasn't going to have an emotional response to it. So I kept trying, and for years I doubted if I was really saved. And I think that is one major problem in the church with just Christianity today, with television preachers, with everyone promoting this idea that if you say these words, repeat this after me, you will feel like, okay, I'm good now. I don't think there is such a thing as that. I think we have confidence in our salvation by knowing what Jesus did for us and simply believing in that. Because once I got away from this whole concept of needing to, do these steps, and just was like, Jesus died for me. I love him. He's my king. I believe in God. I believe that God sent him. I believe Jesus died for me, rose again. I believe in all of that. I have no doubts about that. And ever since I sort of kind of adopted that as my conversion experience and realized I didn't need one. My experience was my life. My experience was my belief in him all along. And I have no doubt now, nothing, that I am going to be in heaven when I die. I don't have any doubt. And it's not because I prayed a prayer and suddenly my life was perfect and I never sinned again. It's not like that. It's that even when I sin now, I know that it was paid for and that I'm still, like, without Jesus, I'm still guilty of that. But with Jesus, with having the knowledge that he took my sin and I'm free of it, I don't have any doubt of where I'm going. I don't have any doubt that my relationship with him is real and secure and I am a Christian. Like, I have no doubt about that. And I think a lot of people do have doubts about that. Am I really saved? Am I really a Christian? Does God really want me? Does God really love me? And like I said, I think that's sort of on the church, because if you read the Bible, nowhere in it does it say you have to follow these steps and then you will be saved. It's simply believe. If you believe and you give your life to God, it's not a matter of accepting Jesus into your heart, which, by the way, oh my goodness, I hate that phrase because it's so unbiblical. There's nothing about that in the Bible. Jesus doesn't come into your heart. I think the whole idea of that came from, behold, I stand at the door and knock, which we have now taken into, he's standing at the door of our heart knocking, and if we just accept him, let him in, he will dwell with us. Actually, I don't think any of that's true. I don't think Jesus dwells in us. I think the Holy Spirit does. I think there's so much mystery about that we are never actually going to understand. It's something I want to look into more. But we try to have an emotional reaction to something, and we think if our emotions are engaged, then we have felt something, it's real, and now I'm saved. And I don't think that's it. I don't think our emotions have any part in it. I think once you really believe in him and you start to understand him more, you start to love him more, your emotions automatically become engaged, because once you love someone, your heart loves that person. You feel because of them. You feel for them in a sense. I mean, if I just see someone walking down the street, it can be like, I'm supposed to love you. That's my job as a Christian, right? I'm supposed to love you. But if I actually went out and talked to that person and heard their story and I became friends with that person, I talked to them every day and I genuinely loved them, if something happened to them, I would be emotionally engaged. I would be heartbroken. I would be excited for them if something good happened. But if they're just walking by, I have no relationship with them. So you need a relationship with God to feel anything. You can't just say, I feel bad for sinning against someone that I don't really know. I feel bad for sinning against someone who has a law that I don't really understand. Like, I don't know if this makes sense and if this kind of goes against everything that you believe in, but I don't think that you need to start with a sinner's prayer. I think you should start with getting to know God, because when you get to know him, you get to understand why your sins, why your mistakes, why everything you've done against him is such a big deal, and why you need Jesus. Because, like, as a kid, if you hear you need Jesus, you need to accept Jesus into your heart, it's very simple for a little kid to say, okay, I want Jesus in my heart. But do you think they're really going to grow up without anything more than that? Do you think they're going to grow up actually caring about God's law, about what he wants from you, about Jesus, about the whole story of salvation? Probably not. You need a foundation of knowing who God is, and you build on that. Jesus is the cornerstone. Jesus is the foundation of everything, and you build on top of that, and you grow as a Christian. But you don't start with what the church says you have to start with, I don't think. And I didn't necessarily mean for this to become preachy against the church or against the sinner's prayer, but my experience with that was not a good one. There was absolutely no, what's the word? My brain is saying satisfaction, and that's not it. I had no confirmation when I prayed those words. I had prayed them so many times. I would pray them by myself. If I heard a preacher on TV praying them, I would pray it with them, because I just wanted to be sure. I wanted to be sure that I was saved, and nothing in me felt assurance, but I kept hoping for it. And now, knowing God, knowing Jesus, understanding things, looking more into his word and actually caring, the more I get to know him, the more I care, the more I love him, the more I understand, and the more assurance I feel. There's never any doubt in me, but I can still feel more and more excited and amazed by what he did. And it's funny, there was something the other day I was talking to my mom about, like, why do we read the Bible? Like, why do we feel like we have to read it? And because it can feel like, it's the same old book and everything. But I just kind of said, like, offhand, it's sort of like, running on a treadmill. You do it to build up strength. And it's the same thing with, building your relationship with God, reading the Bible. By doing these things, you're building endurance and strength, and you're making yourself stronger in God, and not, working out. You do it in order to get stronger. This is, it's your biblical workout. It's your faith routine sort of thing. That sounds really cheesy. Please don't adopt that into your life. I don't want to be responsible for that. And there was no part of me growing up that ever thought, yeah, I actually don't believe that. And it's maybe because I did grow up with it that it was just such a normal part of my life. It was like saying those people are my grandparents. Yeah, I know they're my grandparents. I've known them all my life. It's sort of the same thing. God is God. Yeah, I know that because I was raised with that. I know that. And it's funny, but to me, I cannot imagine someone not being saved in a sense, because I don't know. I've never been, like I said, I've never been not saved, it seems like. So I've never had an experience where I've never lived a life where God wasn't a part of it. So, like, for me, when I'm riding down a highway with my parents and it's raining, horribly, and it's storming and I'm scared, my immediate reaction is to pray for safety, which is funny because it's like, I'm so quick to say, like, I hate this world, I can't wait for heaven, but then when it's actually bad, it's like, please keep us safe, I don't want to die today, please keep us safe. And I cannot imagine not having that, not having God to talk to. Like, I know that non-Christians in a bad situation often will pray, like, God, if you're listening. That is our immediate reaction. That's what we want. We want to have a higher power that's more in control than we are to talk to ask, please keep me safe, please do this. We want someone like that. We just don't want someone to judge us. We don't want that person to have control of our lives. We just want them to have control when we want to give it to them and then take it right back, right? Which I think is what people in the world don't want. They don't want to be accountable to someone. They don't realize they already are. Nothing they do is going to make them unaccountable to God. He created them. He owns them. He is their God, whether they want him or not. And so for me, it's like, why wouldn't you just submit to him? Like, I can't fathom not wanting to. And I think for, like, people like atheists and people who don't believe in God and just don't want any part of him, they could look at me and say, what if you're wrong? Like, what if you're wasting your life just being good and, not sleeping around and not doing drugs and not doing all these things? And I can look back at them and say, okay, if I'm wrong and at the end of my life I just sleep forever, I'm just dead, so what? Like, what did I do as a Christian that has been so detrimental that my life was so ruined by? There's nothing. By not sleeping around, I know that I don't have an STD or anything like that. I don't have any chance of getting pregnant with someone who doesn't care about me and I don't care about them. By not doing drugs, I'm healthier, I hope. I'm not killing myself slowly. I'm happy. I'm not addicted to something that's ruining my life. There's nothing on the other side of the fence that's greener than the grass I already have, if that makes sense. Like, everything that I want in my life is aimed at God. I want him to use me. I want to be here. And there's nothing in me that wants to hop the fence and see what it's like over there. Nothing that wants to dabble in what the world enjoys. There's no appeal to me. And so for me to look at someone who says, what if you're wrong? It's like, okay, what if I'm wrong? But what if you're wrong? Like, what if I'm right at the end of this and there is a God waiting and he is going to judge you if you're not under Jesus's blood, as we say, if you're not covered by him, if you haven't adopted him as your substitute, then you are going to face God as yourself. And that is a terrifying thought. I cannot imagine even living the life that I am now. If I wasn't saved, if I was just trying to be good, I would still come up against the perfect judge, and I would lay out the good things I did, and then he would pull out the endless scroll of stupid and evil things that I did. Not to say that what I do for the most part is evil, but in God's eyes, I know that things that I do are. And I would have nothing to say. I would say, well, I tried. And it's not like the good outweighs the bad. It's simply, you went against me. I don't know you. Where when I get to heaven, when I get to heaven, I am going to be greeted as Jesus. Do you understand that we as Christians are covered by him, that when God looks at us, he sees him? And when Jesus was on the cross, he looked at Jesus and saw us. All of us, all of our sins, every disgusting thing humanity has done. He saw that on Jesus, and when he looks at us now, when he looks at me, he sees his son, his perfect son who never went against him. I can't imagine. It's the most beautiful thing that when I get to heaven, I'm safe. And quite simply, that's why I'm a Christian. Because I've never believed anything otherwise. It's what I love. It's who I love. I mean, there's nothing in me that wants to try something else. Nothing wants to, test another religion, see what they have. I am 100% sure that what I believe is the truth. I don't want anything else. And maybe that's frustrating for some people who think that, you should look into other things and not just settle with what you've grown up with. And I understand that. I do think that there's something about that whole idea of, well, yeah, but you've kind of been brainwashed your whole life, right? I believe it because I have seen God work in situations. I have seen him heal people. I have seen him do incredible things that no one else could have done. And I don't doubt that it's him. I know him. I know who he is, and I believe in him. And I don't know. Maybe it's just I have simple faith possibly, but I'm happy. So, that's me. I'm Tracy. I'm 26. I'm a Canadian, and I'm a Christian. I'll see you next week.